It's a great honor and privilege to have you join us again today on I Tune to Him. Thank you so very much for making these devotionals a part of your day. We certainly hope they're a blessing to you. I want us to continue with our thought today on Behold the Lamb. If you recall, on Monday we looked at the promise of the Lamb. Yesterday was on the provision of the Lamb. Beautiful story of Abraham and Isaac. And today I want us to look in Exodus 12. And I want us to talk about the power of the Lamb. And we're going to deal with the Passover Lamb for the children of Israel. Let's begin reading in Exodus 12, verse number 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, Pick out and take lambs for yourselves, according to your families, and kill the Passover lamb. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop, dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. For the Lord will pass through to strike the Egyptians. And when He sees the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts, the Lord will pass over the door and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to strike you. Boy, that must have been some lamb. The power of this lamb. Let's look at it for just a few moments. Our time today will certainly not allow us to look at all the details of this story, but we do need a little background to understand the power of this lamb. For 430 years, the people of Israel have been in bondage, and they began to cry out to God for deliverance, and God used a man by the name of Moses to help lead them. And the plagues were instituted upon Egypt, and this last plague would be the death of the firstborn. And that's where we pick up the story of this Passover lamb. As they cried out to God, God set a plan in motion, and His plan involved this Passover lamb. There's two things I want you to get about this story today in understanding the power of this lamb. First of all, the power of the lamb redeemed them. And then in our conclusion today, we'll look at how the power of the lamb restored them. For you see, God told Moses to tell every man to take a 1-year-old little male lamb. It could not have a spot. It could not have a blemish. They were to take that lamb into their house. They were to keep it for 4 days, and then they were to kill that lamb and put the blood of that lamb up on the door, and they were to roast that lamb and then eat that lamb to institute the Passover. For you see, they were in their bondage. They were in slavery. But you know what? As great as their taskmaster was, the taskmaster that you and I served in our sin was greater. As great as their chains were, our chains were even greater. And as great as the blood of this Passover lamb was, can I tell you, the blood of the Lamb of Calvary was even greater for us. Because Peter tells us that we were not redeemed with corruptible things such as silver and gold, but with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb that is without spot and without blemish. So as they brought that lamb into their house, they applied that blood to their door. I want to say to you, there's power to redeem in this lamb today that I'm talking about. And you can understand and know that power and apply the power of that blood over your homes and over your families. And you can do like them. Once you get the blood to cover you, stay behind the covering of that blood. For you see, without the blood, the people would not be covered from the judgment that was coming. But as long as they were behind that blood, I want to tell you, the destroyer could not get to them. For the power of this blood is able to break strongholds. The power of this blood is able to break addictions over people's life today. But in conclusion, let me bring this to an end very quickly and tell you that the power of this lamb also restored them. What do you mean, Pastor? They took from the Egyptians all of their wealth, all that they had stolen from them, all that the Egyptians had taken from them and made them to be slaves in one moment's time because of the power of this lamb. Can I tell you, the enemy had to restore to them what was rightfully theirs? Can I tell you, in one moment's time, the power of the Lamb of God and His blood that was shed, the enemy had to give back what he had taken from us. And also, when they were eating that lamb, and the aroma of that lamb was in the house, they could sense something different. They began to partake of that lamb. And as they were partaking of that lamb, they didn't realize they were partaking of the blessing and the healing. I leave you with this today. Isaiah says in the 53rd chapter that He was wounded for us. He was bruised for us. The punishment that was upon Him brought us peace, and by His stripes we are healed. That is the power of the Lamb today. The power to restore what the enemy has taken from you. The power to bring healing and health and restoration to you. For you see, there's nothing greater than the power of this Lamb. Christ, our Passover Lamb. Aren't you glad He came? Until tomorrow, God bless you. Have a wonderful day.